Welcome to the next set of official ACT problems. So now, the standard xy coordinate plane, what are the coordinates of the midpoint of a line segment whose endpoints are -3, 0, and 7, 4? So you should know right away that the formula to use is going to be x1 plus y1 divided by 2 for the first coordinate, for the x coordinate of the midpoint, and x2 plus y2 divided by 2. So let's substitute. X1 is going to be -3, y1 is going to be 7, right? So it's going to be -3 plus 7 divided by 2, and then x2 is going to be 0, and y2 is 4. So 0 plus 4 divided by 2. So what do we get? 7 minus 3 is 4 divided by 2 is 2. So definitely these two, one of these two answers, right? And 4 divided by 2 is 2, so that's choice A. Points A, B, C, and D are on a line such that B is between A and C, C is between B and D, and the distance from A to B is 6 units. Okay, so let's draw the line segment. Okay, so now we're gonna have A, we're gonna have C, and doesn't matter. You see, I'm not trying to draw the A, B, C correctly or whatever, right? I'm just gonna. It may not match what we read here. The distance from A to B is 6 units, right? So that's 6. The distance from B to C is twice the distance from A to B. So that's going to be 12, right? Twice the distance from A to B. And the distance from C to D is twice the distance from B to C. So that's 24, right? Let's see, what is the distance in units from the midpoint of BC to the midpoint of CD? So we're talking about the midpoint, right, of CD and the midpoint of BC, right? So the distance between these two, right? So now let's see. Let's count from the beginning. So 6 plus 6 is 12, right? Because this distance from B to the midpoint is 12, right? 6 plus 6, so that's 12. So this is 12, and then plus 6 is 18, and half of 24 is 12, right? 18 plus 12 is 30, so the distance is 30 minus 12. 30 minus 10 is 20, minus 2 is 18, so the distance is 18. You see how I did it? Okay, next question. An industrial cleaner is manufactured using only the 3 secret ingredients A, B, and C, which are mixed in the ratio 2, 3, 5, respectively by weight. How many pounds of secret ingredient B are in a 42-pound net weight bucket of this cleaner? So realize that 2, 3, 5 is a ratio. So the weights can be 2, 3, 5. The rates can be 4, 6, and 10, and etc., right? So all this does, notice that to make 2 into a 4, you have to multiply it by 2. So there has to be a factor involved that will transform one set into the multiple set, right? The multiple for each pair, right? So we can we can set this factor to be x. Okay, so factor. Okay, factor scale. Right? Scaling factor. So now that means that we can have 2x, the actual weights are 2x, 3x, 5x. Okay, so actual weights. Right? So that means in order to have 42, we have to add all these guys up, right? Because they're the actual weights for each what is it, ingredient, right? A, B, and C. So 2x plus 3x plus 5x is equal to 42, the net weight, right? So that means we now add the coefficients. 5 plus 3 is 8, 10x. So 10x is equal to 42, x is equal to 4.2, right? So now we're asked to find the number of pounds of secret ingredient B. Now B corresponds to the 3, the middle ratio number here. So 3x is the weight of B, right? The actual weight of B. So 4.2 divided by 3 is what we want. 3x is equal to 3 times 4.2 because we found the x to be 4.2, right? So 3 times 4.2 Use your calculator. 4 times 3 is 12. 0.2 times 3 is 0.6. 12.6. There you go. That's the right answer. Okay. Last problem. If n is equal to 8 and 16 times 2 raised to the m power is equal to 4 to the power of n minus 8, then m is equal to what? So to solve this problem, we need to set all bases that we see to the lowest base common to all of them, right? The lowest base is 2, right? Because everything else is 4 and 16. So 16 can be expressed with base 2 if we raise this 2 to the fourth power, right? So 2 to the fourth times 2 to the m is equal to 4 to the n minus. So how can you express 4? 4 will be expressed by base 2 raised to the second power. But keep in mind that 2 raised to the second power is 4, and then there is a power n minus 8 on top of it, right? So that's why I use parentheses. So if you simplify this algebraically, you will have 2. Now the bases are the same, you just add their corresponding exponents, right? And then here you're going to distribute, right? Because this is the power of a power. You multiply the outside power with the inner power, right? So it's going to be 2 times 2n. We use the distributive property. 2n minus 16. 2 times 8, right? Minus 16. And now guess what? You can set the value of n that you know. The n is equal to 8, right? So it's going to be 2. Oh, and by the way, you can already get rid of this 2, right? Because once you achieve the same base, you can solve the equation by setting the exponents equal. So 4 plus m is equal to 2n minus 16. We know the n value, right? 4 plus m is equal to, n is 8. So 8 times 2 is 16. 16 minus 16. So m is equal to, 4 plus m is equal to 0, right? This thing cancels out to 0. So subtracting 4 on both sides, you will get minus 4 for the m value. So that's your answer. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next set.